Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a single, really profound celestial event from the Hindu calendar, Pārśva Parivartinī Ekādaśī. It's this fascinating story about divine rest, cosmic renewal, and the surprising power of one simple symbolic act. Let's get right into it.
So let's just start with this big question to get us thinking. Could a single, simple change of posture actually have the power to renew the entire cosmos? Sounds kind of out there, right? But believe it or not, this is the very heart of the belief we're exploring today. All right, so let's jump right into this idea of a divine turning point. We're going to look at what this day is actually called and unpack the core action that gives it such huge significance. So what exactly is Pārśva Parivartinī Ekādaśī? Well, an Ekādaśī is the 11th lunar day of the Hindu calendar, and it's always considered super auspicious. This specific one is all about Lord Viṣṇu. Now, the name itself, Pārśva Parivartinī, literally means the turning of the side, and it marks the exact moment when Viṣṇu, who's in this state of divine slumber, symbolically shifts his posture. It's also known as Padmā Ekādaśī, and you're going to want to remember that name for later. Now, this whole idea of a divine sleep, it's absolutely central to everything. So let's explore what Viṣṇu's cosmic sleep is really about, because as you're about to see, this is definitely not your average nap. What's really cool here is the difference between our sleep and divine sleep. When we sleep, it's pretty much unconscious rest, but Lord Viṣṇu's state, that's called yoganidrā. And this is something else entirely. It's a divine meditative sleep where he's still fully aware, completely conscious of the entire cosmos. It's an active state, not a passive one. He's literally maintaining universal balance while he rests. And this is where it all clicks. Within this state of yoganidrā, the simple act of turning from one side to the other isn't just a physical movement. It is a massive symbolic event. It signifies a grand cosmic renewal, kind of like a reset for the whole universe. Think of it as the cosmos just taking a new breath, realigning all its energies for whatever comes next. So yeah, this one tiny gesture has huge implications. Okay, so that's the big cosmic idea, but how is this actually celebrated here on Earth? We're going to narrow our focus now to the tangible, real-world ceremonies that bring this idea to life, specifically at the famous Śrī Jagannāth Temple. Over at the temple in Puri, this huge abstract concept is made beautifully real through a specific ritual known as the Pārśva Parivartana Yātrā. This ceremony takes that cosmic idea and grounds it in a celebrated physical tradition that people can actually witness and be a part of. Let's walk through what actually happens. The ritual is a pretty elaborate process. First up, the deities are ceremonially cleansed. Then they're decorated with beautiful new garments. After that, there's a sacred procession, which all leads up to the most important step, the ceremonial changing of the deities' resting positions, which directly mirrors Lord Viṣṇu's cosmic turn. Every great tradition seems to have a powerful story behind it, and this one is no exception. Let's switch gears to the legend that really illustrates the meaning and perceived power of this day, the story of a king and a devastating drought. So, according to the Brahmavaivarta Purāṇa, a sacred text, there was once this righteous king whose kingdom was just completely ravaged by a terrible drought. The land was barren, crops failed, and his people were suffering immensely. This ruler, King Mandhātā, was in absolute distress. He was a good king who really cared for his people, and he just couldn't bear to see them suffer. So he set out to find a divine answer, some way to bring his kingdom back from the brink. And here's the amazing resolution. King Mandhātā was advised to observe Padmā Ekādaśī, which, hey, you remember, is the other name for this day. The story goes that by faithfully performing the rituals, he brought back the rains. Just like that, he restored prosperity and peace to his entire land. Okay, so what does this all mean for someone observing the day now, in our time? Let's zoom back out from that incredible legend and look at the universal themes and promises that this festival really holds. The sacred texts promise that observing this day grants some pretty powerful boons. We're talking about material prosperity, just like we saw in the story of King Mandhātā, but also a deep sense of inner peace. And for the ultimate goal, it's believed to help one on the path to spiritual liberation, or Moksha. So when you really boil it all down, Pārśva Parivartinī Ekādaśī is so much more than just a date on the calendar. It's a profound celebration of cosmic renewal, and it's a beautiful reminder that even in stillness, great change is possible.
At its core, it really speaks to the incredible power of faith. And that leaves us with one final thought to carry with us. Beyond this specific tradition, what power do symbolic acts of renewal, whether they're big or small, truly hold in our own lives today? It's a powerful question to reflect on. Thanks so much for joining me.